Welcome to the Brew Crew Review Podcast, the show by fans for fans of your Milwaukee Brewers. Hey, welcome back, Brewer fans. This is the Brew Crew Review Podcast. I'm Craig. Joining me today are Vince and Scott. Hey, guys.
Hey, Craigers.
Yo.
So,
Craig, do we have Chad on the set? Is he with us today?
I think he'll probably chime in at some point here during this podcast. I'm not sure. But yeah, he's got the number. So
he said something like he was really looking forward to the Bears game and beating Goff tomorrow, or he said that a couple days ago, obviously, but I don't think it worked out that way. But it happens. It's no big deal. But he might still be reeling from that. He might need to just have this one show off.
All right, that's good to know. The Brewers came out with a brand new logo and a whole set of new uniforms today, which they unveiled in a special press conference. So that's true. We'll talk a little bit about that, and we'll talk a little bit about a couple of the end of season awards the Brewers did not win, unfortunately, but and also talk a little bit about this supposed sign stealing controversy going on around MLB, mostly revolving around the Houston Astros, but also the Brewers the franchise has been thrown in that mix as well. So we'll hit on that, and I believe we even have a question or two from our Twitter follower. Is that correct, Scott?
That is incorrect. Oh, wait, I don't know. Vince, is that correct?
Oh, that actually is correct, Craig. Yes, we do actually have some Twitter questions from our fans.
Damn it.
Awesome.
Okay. I mean, good.
Scott, fire the intern that gave you the pre-production meeting or the pre-podcast notes. Those are inaccurate. But anyway, neither here nor there. Let's jump right into it. I know one of the recent podcasts Scott and I were on, we did kind of touch. There was a leak of the logo ahead of time. We talked about it a little bit. So I guess I'll kind of just let you guys give your opinion first. Maybe we should start with Vince on this one. I'll just say that overall the Brewers, went back to kind of the ball and glove logo, and they reinvented the actual logo, made some slight tweaks to it, and not only that, but different uniforms going forward. What are your overall thoughts, Vince?
I actually like the new logo quite a bit, the new old logo, I guess, quite a bit. I think it does a good job. I didn't want them to actually just go back to the original ball and glove. I thought that was, a little odd to return to the same exact logo that the team gave up after the 1993 season. But I'm glad that they incorporated it into a kind of a revamped look. So I know that there was some on Twitter and social media that were kind of critical of it, but they did make some tweaks, which we can get into a little bit more, but I like it overall, and I think conceptually it's a good sharp look. And as far as the uniforms go, wow, I thought that those were great, but maybe we should just talk the logo first and then get into the uniforms a bit.
Scott, thoughts on the logo?
Logo I'm really happy with. I mean, I think in our last episode we had said that this is one of the top 5 logos in all of sports in the world. I mean, it was such a great job of encompassing, obviously, the letters of the city with the MB and the Milwaukee Brewers, and then being able to put that in a nice, simple, concise logo was great. I know that when they leaked it, the one difference that I do see is the stitching on the baseball. I remember thinking, like, the thing that I liked about the last logo is that it was so simple but brilliant at the same time. And it looks like now, instead of like having all the little stitching on the actual baseball, it's just 2 lines, which I think is actually a lot better. So I'm very happy with that. I don't know when that exactly got changed, because 2 weeks ago it looked like they were going the other way with it. And so overall, I'm very happy with it. I'd give it an A.
They might have heard some feedback from fans, and that new logo it should be commented on that was released by Topps baseball cards, I believe, that kind of had that leaked as the logo on the side of a Brewers card for 2020. So, I mean, the Brewers maybe didn't even know that was coming. Maybe the design wasn't done yet. So who knows how that got out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming the baseball card companies have to get the print of the New Year's baseball cards well in advance, and they probably request logos from teams, and the Brewers might have not had it quite 100% done and just send them what they had or something. Who knows? But it looks pretty much on target for the leaked one, though. And overall, I'll just say I'm glad they went back to the ball and glove logo instead of coming up with some new crazy stuff that didn't make any sense or something like that and would infuriate most of the fan base, because there was a lot of love for the old ball and glove logo, and it's been pretty well renowned as one of the most clever and best logos in sports history, I would say at this point, with, incorporating the M and the B in the glove. That's, of course, spelled out Milwaukee Brewers. The one tweak they made that I did not like is the bridge that connects the M and the B right above the patching on the glove. I don't like that, but not going to nitpick too much. Overall, satisfied with it. I also don't like that they squeezed the dimension down a little bit, so it's much narrower. The other one had like a bubbly or more cartoonish feel or something to it. But anyway, overall, we can live with it.
It looked like they centered the ball a little bit to kind of make the B look more like a B as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, let's get on to the uniforms, I guess. I don't know, we can go the same right around again. I don't know. Scott, do you want to start off on the uniforms?
Yeah, I could definitely do that. So the uniforms, as Vince and I were talking briefly about them, when you look at the home unis, there's not a heck of a lot difference from the uniforms of Brewers past, but it is nice. I'm glad that there's not like too much yellow. The fact that they're cream colored supposedly instead of white, I don't know. I mean, I don't really care for that, but I get it. It's a homage to the Cream City brick, I guess. But there's probably a reason why there's not a lot of cream colored uniforms, I suppose. But the only one that I really disliked was it's predominantly navy and yellow road uniform. I really dislike that. To me, it just it looks like a minor league uniform to me. I really don't like it. But overall, with the uniforms, I can't complain. I'll give it a C.
Yeah, I like the uniforms, Craig, for the most part. The one, Scotty, I agree with you. The one that I don't like, or I guess the one that I like the least, is the road navy one. I don't necessarily think that that's the best one. My guess is that's like a road alternate jersey, but we'll see. Looking for some differences with the home creams compared to the 1970s Brewers uniforms, I guess that found a couple. The one is like the piping at the top of the jersey front is one difference, and the sides, the sleeves, the spacing is a little bit different, so the size of the bars is a little bit different. The script looks the same, and then of course cream white instead of just white. So, but yeah, overall I like them. I really love the fact that they went back to putting Milwaukee on the front of the road jerseys. I think that that's awesome. Should be done. You're representing the city when you're in a different city. Love the road grays as well. Love them a lot. So yeah, overall, I'll give a strong B+ or A- actually to the uniforms overall.
Oh, and Craig, just before you give your take on this, do want to remind all of our fans that we do have the new logo and the new uniforms. We do have pictures that posted on our Twitter at Brew Crew Review 1. So check them out there. You can also vote how you like them, so check it out. All right, Krager, sorry to interrupt. Krager, what's your take?
Actually, I was busy voting on our Twitter page as you're saying that. So
no, you can't vote.
Well, while you guys were giving your opinion, I had to do something. I'm just not going to sit here. Oh. I was listening though, and I will say that I agree with a lot of your points. It is kind of like a nice homage to the early '70s Brewers. Even I think the main home uniform kind of reminds me of with the lettering of that, so it's kind of like a combination of those first two eras. It kind of reminds me of the early '70s, the initial Brewers logo then, and then of course the '80s heyday one with the ball, going back to the ball and glove. So it's kind of a combination of those. It's pretty good job on that. I actually do like. I know the pinstripes are kind of polarizing. The home pinstripes though uniform, I kind of dig those as well. I'm not huge on the cream color. I preferred white, but whatever. And then going on to the same thing with the rolled ones. The one that Kashihira showed up on, I kind of like that one. I don't know if it was a little bit more gray, but the Brent Suter one, the blue one, I just did not like the agree with you. There was like these weird stripes coming down, the yellow or gold stripes coming down the front of it. I did not like the shape of that and whatnot. And then just even the numbering, I guess the numbers in the front of jerseys, it's like they don't have borders or something. I do not like the look of that. Unfortunately, much love Brent Suter. That was the worst one. And then, with the other ones, so hopefully those are all alternatives, but the other ones that Kashihiro had, I did like, and I agree with Vince's point that I do like the curse of Milwaukee along the front of those jerseys too. Again, I was hoping that they would, not to go back to the 80s uniforms, I was hoping they'd somehow have some alternative jersey with the powder blue, because I really love those ones from the 80s, but what can you do?
Yeah,
so
awesome.
I guess we're not going back there unless they're retro ones or something. But anyway, so moving forward, I can live with them. Again, even to get in a little more detail, there were some I saw one of the patches on one of the sleeves was just a ball with the stitching, not the Ball and Glove logo, but just a ball with stitching. I thought that was decent. But another one I saw was the state of Wisconsin that was a gold filled state of Wisconsin, but it almost like it was broken up into like 12 brick segments. And my first thing, when I first saw it, I'm like, are those supposed to be counties? And I looked all close. I'm like, there's no way there's more counties than that in Wisconsin. I'm like, this is obviously just bricks or something, like Cream City bricks filling up the state of Wisconsin. So I didn't like that initially. Maybe it'll draw me, but I guess as far as more of the details of it, I didn't like that. So, but overall, I think the Brewers will grow to love. Fans will grow to love them, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't know what the number 12 means with that, Craig. There's like 72 counties, I think, in Wisconsin, so it's not that. I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't count the actual bricks, but there definitely were not 72 of them. They were all shaped. I guess I only took a parting glance at it, but yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
I think they were supposed to be bricks, like building I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
But, all right, well, let's move along to some other happenings this week. Of course, last week was awards week here in MLB, where they, of course, released all the finalists and, the actual winners of the 2019 season awards. And unfortunately, Craig Counsell, I believe, finished runner-up for Manager of the Year in the NL to Cardinals manager Mike Schlitt, and was disappointed and thought that was terrible. Also, of course, for NL MVP, Christian Yelich, who arguably had a better season than he did from last year's MVP actual campaign, finished runner-up to Cody Bellinger for NL MVP. We're not shocked by that one, and I guess I can't argue too much because they both had phenomenal seasons, but a little disappointed, but I'm actually more disappointed in the Counsell one than the Yelich one, believe it or not. But anyway, what are you guys' take on that?
I wasn't really surprised by either one of them, I guess. I think the two things that obviously went against Yelich was he was hurt at the end of the year, and so he missed some time. And even though his numbers were still better than Bellinger's, in my opinion, with less games, I think the other part of it was that Yelich won it last year, so there's always let's get somebody new to get the award or whatever. As far as Manager of the Year, I don't think that anybody could do there's a handful of people that could have done what Counsell did with this team after Yelich went down, and just an overall amazing job that he did. The fact that he didn't win, that whole ceremony was a real Schlitt show to me, but whatever.
Nice, Scotty. I mean, it was. I definitely thought that Yelich should have been the MVP. I unfortunately thought that they were going to make Bellinger the MVP, which is what happened. I think the Bellinger. I thought maybe Yelich had a chance just because Bellinger went into a little bit of a slump in September, but then again with Yelich's injury, maybe that took him out of front runner status in some voters' minds. But definitely would have been a deserving award for both the MVP and then Craig Counsell as well. Obviously, the Cardinals winning the division probably gave him a little bit of an edge, and really looking forward to the day when a Brewers manager wins Manager of the Year. It would be the first time in franchise history.
And I do have confidence Craig Counsell will win it within the next 5 years. I think he's going to be one of the all-time best Brewer managers in history when all is said and done. So let's before so we don't miss out on this. Vince, do you have the questions then that were submitted by our Twitter follower? Maybe let's get to that next.
You're gonna have to give me 30 seconds here. The interns were ill-prepared and did not hand that to me. Hold on one moment.
Here, I'll do this while we're doing it. So we did ask on Twitter to first of all grade the new logo. Just give it an A, B, C, or D. What you thought? 79% overwhelmingly said A. Then 13% said B, and 8% gave it a D. But as far as the Brewers' new uniforms, again, fans really like it. 62% gave it an A, 24% with a B, 6% C, and D got 9%. So hopefully that's all just enough for Vince.
Nope, that was great. And also really quick, I also wanted to thank our anonymous source, Tom Carter, for giving us the inside scoop on the uniforms and the logo before it was released to the general public. So much appreciated, our anonymous source, Tom Carter.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. He also said that if there was any sign stealing at Miller Park, he would know about it. So he said that there was nothing to worry about with that. He said that his team could get by just fine without it. And I did really also want to briefly mention that I did see that Yu Darvish with his big contract, who unfortunately for him hasn't pitched in a meaningful game yet for the Chicago Cubs, did call out saying that he thought for some reason, based on Yelich's amazing start, that maybe the Brewers were doing some sort of sign stealing, just in lieu of all of the accusations going around with the Houston Astros right now. And Yelich's direct quote was, "Be better than this. Nobody needs help facing you." So
the new Roxanne. That's awesome.
yeah.
All right. To get to our Twitter question, we asked for some questions for the show tonight. We had a viewer response from Coach Larry, who, judging from his Twitter profile, is probably intoxicated at a breakfast bar right now. He asked, what's an under-the-radar move we might pull for a starting pitcher that doesn't suck? I'd like to emphasize that I do not want this starting pitcher to suck. I believe there was some confusion the last few years. Also, any chance Corbin Burns stops throwing BP in games? So thanks for the question, Coach Larry. And Scott, why don't we start with you on this
one? As far as an under-the-radar move, we covered it a couple episodes ago. A lot of different people that we thought could wind up making on the Brewers team. I think, let's see, Julio Teheran was floated. I think Julio Teheran, I hate to say it, but like as far as like money-wise contract, that might be as high as we're willing to go. I've looked at some of the projections that people are saying Zach Wheeler is going to get, and with his injury history, I don't want any part of it. Like, I think he's good. He's just not as good as what people are saying he's going to get paid. So, as far as Corbin Burns being able to hopefully not give BP during live games anymore, despite the fact that there is nothing basically from last year that's gonna tell me this, I do believe that he has the ability to turn it around. I mean, at the end of the day, his fastball is a little bit too straight, but he could throw upper 90s at times, and he's got a phenomenal slider. And if he can control those pitches, he has all the weapons to be a great reliever in this game. And he is still developing some other secondary pitches too. But you know what? After last year, I would say don't even consider him as a starter. Don't even worry about your third or fourth pitch. Like get your fastball, get your slider down, and let's take it from there.
Yeah, I agree with Scott overall, especially with Corbin Burns no longer throwing BP. I think he'll be spend some more time at AAA, get himself right, and hopefully he's working with the right people during this off season. I disagree with Scott a little bit. I do think that obviously you can get a couple of pitches working correctly, and then see what he can do in the bullpen. But I hope they leave him at AAA and kind of make have him have some success. Maybe as a starter, I'd prefer him to be left there, but and not totally bail on him yet on that, but we'll see. Just because I think he has the arsenal to be a starter still. But maybe this time next year, if he hasn't made any more progress, I think that's definitely the way to go. Getting back to Coach Larry's other question, what's the best Brewer pitcher we probably could sign? I mean, if you're thinking we're going to be in on guys like Cole or Strasburg or like Scott mentioned, even Wheeler or Rayu or anything, I'm afraid you're going to be holding your breath a little too long. That is just not going to happen. The Brewers are not going to be willing to pony up those type of contracts. To kind of appease them and make them slightly optimistic, I'll throw out a name that is a dark horse maybe to the Brewers signing. Someone like a Madison Bumgarner, I think, could maybe settle for like a 4 or 5 year deal, probably at a price the Brewers shouldn't pay, but maybe they'll just pony up for some reason. But that's about as good of a name as you're probably going to see the Brewers getting. I wouldn't even hold my breath on that, I guess.
Hey, Craig, I know that I should know this, but didn't Baumgartner have some things to say about like the way that the Brewers use starting pitchers and kind of commented on that back in the 2018 season? Or am I misremembering that?
I personally don't recall that, but if true, I'd probably not be willing to sign with the Brewers even if they have no amount of money.
I could be misremembering that too. I guess I don't know for sure, but I was about to bring up Madison Bumgarner. I like him as well, Craig. I think that he would be a great addition. I don't know that we're necessarily going to be able to afford him, but we'll see. I mean, maybe there's something to the idea that Atanasio is going to open it up the pocketbook even a little bit more this year, given the fact we've been strong contenders the last 2 seasons, and even with the rebranding and marketing stuff, Mark Atanasio has made a career in bringing products out at certain times and marketing things correctly. Maybe this is the year that he spends even a little bit more money. We'll see.
Yeah, actually, Vince, I think I recall something about that too. Basically, him saying something along the lines of like, "You're not going to come get me in the 5th inning, like if I'm pitching well," or something like that. Like he wants the ball and he wants to be able to. They were saying something like, "Oh well, complete games, like they're going to start pulling people 3rd time through the order," and he's like, "No, that's not going to happen to me, not on my watch," that kind of thing. So, I don't necessarily think it's going to be like a really good fit, but. You never know.
I mean, what my argument with that would be is I think that in order for the Brewers model to really be successful throughout an entire season, you kind of need someone at the front of your rotation, your number 1 or 2 starters that can go past 5 innings, and you expect to go 6 to 7 innings every time. That way, the rest of it'll strengthen the rest of the games that the bullpen doesn't have to come in for and pitch most of the game. They'll be more than well rested because of those innings thrown by those top, especially your number 1 starter at the head of the rotation. So I don't think the Brewers would, not welcome someone who can throw 7 strong innings. I think that's just ridiculous. But with that being said, I mean, he probably wouldn't be someone that could promise someone like Madison Bumgarner that he's going to be allowed to go 7 innings every start either. But I don't think it's necessarily a mismatch because of those reasons, I guess.
Craig, what do you guys see Bumgarner getting in the open market now that he's a free agent?
It's a good question. He seems older than he actually is. And Scott, I don't know if you have your interns quick look this up, but I believe he's only about 31 or 32 years old. And in fact, that might.
I thought he was like 45. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, he seems like he's been around forever. He had so much success, especially in the postseason early in his career with the Giants. And of course, his skills have started to deteriorate a little bit. It'd be a risky contract, but I still think he's going to get. I'll say he gets 4 or 5 years. I think whatever team gives him 5 years probably gets him. At what cost? I guess I'll just completely just throwing a dart out there. I'll say he gets 5 years, $75 million. So $15 million a year, I guess.
That actually seems about it, right on the annual value. I think 5 years is a little much. I could see him getting the annual for 4, maybe even a little higher annual for 4. That's just my guess, but we'll see.
I'm sure that's the club they're comfortable with, so that could very well be if someone's willing to go 5.
How old was Arrieta when he signed his recent contract with the Phillies a couple years ago?
Scott, you got your interns on that one too?
Yeah, that's a great question, guys. How many hits did Billy Joe Robineau having his career with the Brewers. Like, let's just look that up really quick too. I don't know.
Scott, these interns are highly trained by you.
All right, well, you're gonna have to stall for me now. All right, let's see here. Bumgarner is actually only he's only 30, so he's. I would not be surprised at all if he got a 5-year deal. Although I know people are getting away from that, but regardless, I actually think that he's probably gonna get closer to that 20 million. So maybe 17, 18, something like that. So we'll see. I don't know. What was your other question? Let me see if I could look it up.
Arrieta's age, 2 years ago? Or just however old he is now would be fine. I think he's 34 now.
He's 33.
It just seems like kind of a relevant comp to me for whatever reason.
He's 33
yeah.
right now.
It's in the ballpark, but so he was probably 31, 32-ish in that same range. So, yeah. And similarly, he had just kind of gone through his successful postseason, run with the Cubs, and also had a Cy Award year thrown in there too. But yeah, his skills. It's like I don't think the Phillies are going to get back in return what they paid for in that contract. I'm sure they're slightly regarding it already 2 years in. And the same could be said for anyone who signs Bumgarner. So it's risky, but I think anyone signing him will be looking for production on those first 3 years of the contract type of thing.
Under the radar, Jordan Lyles, Wade Miley, are they under the radar if they already were wildly successful in a Brew?
I think Coach recently? Larry definitely wanted them to be good, though, Scott. So.
Well, I mean, they're good for us.
No, exactly. So, but I think in his mind, a good pitcher, those might not fit the mold. But I don't know, Coach Larry. So, but that was a good question. No,
maybe we can get something out of like a Kyle Gibson or something like that. He's already kind of used to playing for Midwest teams.
Yeah,
he's not good, but maybe there's something we can find. I don't know.
Yeah, originally I thought that we might have a chance of signing Odorizzi, but then he re-upped with the Twins.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting.
I think he agreed to he accepted a contract for like 17 and a half, somewhere in there.
Yeah, something like that. So, I mean, if Odorizzi got that, well, I don't think it was. I would think.
But that was a 1 year. That was a 1 year deal with the team option.
That's 1 year, yeah.
Option.
So
yeah, mutual option.
I still then say Bumgarner could get 17 a year, easy then probably 4 or 5 years, 17 million. But we'll see. All right. So, was there any other questions then, Vince or Scott, or?
That was all that we got on Twitter, and believe it or not, we actually do not know Coach Larry personally, Craig. So that was an actual viewer question.
Actually, awesome. Coach Larry is actually pretty active on Twitter. Like he posts a lot of stuff, and he is definitely a good contributor to Twitter. So it's definitely appreciate that.
Worth a follow. Yeah, worth a follow. He's a pretty funny guy.
Yeah, for sure.
All righty. Well, so excited about this off season. I know we'll have a lot more podcasts coming your way. I'm sure we'll get some special guests on for you. Hopefully some former baseball players that we can interview during these off season as well. So I hope you guys continue to tune into our podcast. And of course, this hot stove season is just about to heat up with the GM meetings happening in a couple of weeks. I believe they're happening in San Diego this year. Is that right?
Yep. Winter meetings December 8th through the 12th. So.
Who's going?
Scott, you're closest, so hopefully your interns can make out there.
Chad cover that for us?
I could certainly use a vacation. I've been working really hard, so.
Yep.
Well, all of our viewers will appreciate it, Scott.
Yeah, and then I could get away from this, the harsh winters that we have in Las Vegas too. So. That's a good opportunity.
Awesome. All righty. Well, that wraps up for this podcast. Thanks for joining us, Vince and Scott. And Chad, if you're out there listening somewhere, again, give us a call. We're definitely looking forward to the 2020 Brewers season. We've got a new logo, new uniforms. We'll have our MVP, in my mind, dual MVP back with us in full strength health at the beginning of the 2020 season. and the pieces just have to be put in place. And I trust our GM, Dave Stearns, and our owner, of course, to open up the pocketbook. And I'm excited to see what happens this offseason, definitely.
Sounds great, guys. Yeah, let's do it. New uniform logo, new World Series.
And not only that, definitely keep an eye on our Twitter. Give us a follow if you want, and definitely subscribe, and hopefully give us a 5-star rating for this podcast, because leading up to and through the winter meetings, all the way through the off season, we will give all of our rumors here for signings, trades, anything that we can get before everybody else. Thank you again to our anonymous source, Tom Carter, who gets that all for us. Really just so valuable. Really appreciate it. All the work and all the great tips he gives us.
Sounds good, guys.
All right. Go Brewers.
Go Brewers. Stay classy, Wisconsin.
Go Brewers.
Do, 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 do.